Hello, welcome to Collaborative Connections podcast sponsored by KLM Consulting Marketing and Management. This podcast is designed for small business owners and entrepreneurs looking to grow, streamline, and succeed. I'm your host, Kelly Lorenzen, business owner and passionate advocate for small businesses. Running a business can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to do it alone. On this show, we bring together industry experts, fellow entrepreneurs, and thought leaders to share insights, strategies, and real-life success stories. From marketing and business operations to building powerful partnerships, we cover the tools and tactics that help small businesses thrive. So whether you're launching, scaling, or looking for fresh ideas, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's episode and start building something amazing together. I cannot wait to introduce you to my guests today. Three amazing business owners that we all connected, speaking of partnerships, in the Know Women and Fast Friends, and looking forward to highlighting them, having them share their expertise with you. So I will start with Mariah Prince Allen. Doctor, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Mariah Prince Allen. I am a nurse practitioner and the owner of Telehealth for Her, which is a virtual women's wellness practice where I help high-achieving women to balance their hormones, to restore their gut, to have active weight loss, and to just feel like themselves again.
We all need that. At certain ages in our, won't say it out loud. Thank you for being here. Julie Kapler, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kelly, for having us. Yeah, I'm Julia Kapler. I am running an architectural and interior design firm, and we specialize specifically in building medical and dental practices across the US and globally. And our goal is really to continue to innovate that industry and elevate patient experience, elevate efficiencies, ergonomics, and have a holistic approach where we bring in hospitality into our medical environments. And yeah, that's what we do.
Welcome. And Carolina Ferrer, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. Beautiful women here, and I'm sure our listeners and our people that are watching us are as beautiful. So my name is Carolina Ferrer. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in Fort Myers, Florida. I am the founder of Carolina's Compassionate Counseling and Carolina's Compassionate Corp. And I do mental health for individuals, couples, families, children. I get bored easily, so I love all the different types of specialties. And I really love to connect with people and a community level. And my vision is peace in your mind, balance in your body, and healing in your spirit. So thank you for this opportunity and having us here today.
Absolutely. Can you tell why I put all these people together? I always highlight a client and then I say, what better way to foster collaboration and community than to connect other business owners with each other and share insights and trends. So I always like to start with a quick rapid fire Q&A just to get everybody's juices flowing. So when we get to the good stuff of sharing our wisdom and insights, you guys are ready to rock and roll. So how about first one is mountains or ocean, Mariah?
I'm going to say ocean. I'm originally from South Florida, so I grew up around the beach.
Yep. Julia?
100% ocean. I'm a Pisces, so water makes me flow, makes me feel at peace.
That's why we get along so well. Fellow Pisces. Carolina?
Yes. So I say why one or the other. I say I am an ocean girl. If you were to tell me which option to choose, I would definitely choose the ocean. I think that frees my mind, my body, my spirit. I practice that. Obviously, I'm in Florida, so I'm surrounded by water. And I have a little girl that was born during a hurricane. So I definitely have been fortified to love the water and to respect it as well during hurricane season. So and she's a little Ariel. She's her name's Sophia. But so we're definitely water people. But I just went to Arizona and I am all about the mountains. So I'm like, This is a hard question. I don't like to be in a box. I like to be like, I can have both things if I need to.
That's right. That's right. What about a business tool you can't live without? Something you use every day that you just couldn't live without, Mariah?
I would have to say my calendar and Google Calendar has been the biggest thing to just like master all of my calendars into one place, which has been so helpful for me.
That's awesome. Julia?
I was going to say calendar too. I feel like we all agree that we can't live without that. I mean, even my personal life is on my calendar. But I would say maybe outside of that, for our kind of business or anyone's, honestly, for me, it's QuickBooks as our accounting software. I love seeing how things are going. So I would say that one second after calendar.
You're a numbers person. I am not. I'm like, I never have to do QuickBooks. Don't make me do it. Carolina, what about you?
Oh man. So I'm growing in the CEO part, in the business part. So I would say I am learning to love QuickBooks. And I am learning, I'm old school, like calendar. I have probably a zillion, and I don't know. I love that everybody is so techie. I am like, my life is in these things. I write everything, because if not, I swear, I don't know if I remember, but I have a paper and pen wherever I go. And I would say the clinician in me has this Bible, and I guess I can't help, but this is like my Bible, the DSM-5. Which is where I diagnose, because I love to be able to say, listen, do you believe you have this diagnosis? Let's check that this is true, because everybody's diagnosing themselves through social media. And I'm like, you don't actually have this. So let's like unpack. And what does it matter if you have a diagnosis? Like, you are you. So anyway, so those are two, the CEO of me that's trying to keep myself together and organized. And I come with a lot of questions and answers. I'm so sorry. I cannot help, Kelly. I know you want to keep me close, but that's just me.
That's all right. That's good. We all can relate. We all can relate. So now I'd like to jump into some insights and trends. Right now, with the economy, the politics, we're not going to get into the politics, but, this time in our lives post-COVID, what are you seeing, Mariah, as it pertains to people's bodies, people's health? Can you give us some insights relevant to business ownership, what people should look for, what's happening in the right now?
Yeah, I would say right now in the current times, there's just so much stress. And I think that we are embodying the stress a little bit differently into a place where it's actually starting to impact our health. And I think that comes from just, being able to see women who are a lot younger having hormonal problems, and the fatigue and the weight gain. I think it's just high inflammation. I think that is all just tied to the fact that we are all just so stressed, and we are not really managing our stress in the ways that we could be actually mindful. I think even especially as business owners, because for those of us who have employees, we're trying to make sure that people keep a job, we're trying to, make sure that our business stays afloat in this economy. So it's just a lot of stress that I think is really starting to impact people's bodies in ways that we haven't seen before.
Yeah. Everybody can relate to that. That's for sure. Julia, in your industry, brand new office, they're just building, right? They're just creating their businesses, or they're remodeling, or they're, moving offices. So they don't have to be brand new, but is that impacting you guys' work, the economy and the craziness out there? And
absolutely. I think the very first thing that's being impacted whenever something happens in the economy, it's construction. But I will say that we primarily work, I like to say, with the entrepreneurs of the medical world, right? First-time practice owners or expanding their practices, where whenever there's a little bit of uncertainty, which COVID, of course, changed that perspective forever, there's a little bit more fear to follow through with your vision of this is what I want to do, but I'm scared to make that step. So I've been seeing that a lot more, I would say, over the past years, and now it's kind of coming back a little bit, where as entrepreneurs, we all struggle with this all the time, with that fear of, should I take that step? And I see that kind of coming back right now a little bit. And yeah, I think we all collectively know exactly how that feels.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Carolina, in your field, what's happening with your people?
Whoa, there's a lot. That's a loaded question. I'm trying to like narrow it down short.
Yeah.
So May is Mental Health Month, FYI. So 1 out of 4 people struggle with some level of a mental health disorder, meaning depression, anxiety, chronic stress. I think to pivot what Mariah is saying, the level of stress, and then what Julia is saying. My husband's a builder and in construction, and I think every business is trying to reevaluate all of the pieces. So as business owners, as moms, as wives, as humans, as people, we all have a mind, right? And our mind quite often doesn't get checked in unless, right, we have a crisis or something. And my dream and my desire, I think, is more of that preventative health, to check ourselves in before we're constantly on this level of stress that causes chronic disease, and to just check the mind and normalize the stigma that we have a mind. And therefore, if we have a mind, let's check ourselves in and talk about what it could be, and not avoid, when there's chronic things that are happening outside of our world, right? Like politics and businesses and, economy changes, that we can kind of honor the temple internally as a preventative tool before we are looking at the stress and the magnitude of all of the things. So just looking at it from the inner work, that you're human and that we have a mind, and we want to honor that mind, body, spirit, and that way we know how to take care of ourselves better. So therefore, when the outside world, right, are the roles that we play as women and or men, are not fully impacted, because we've actually started taking care of ourselves. Is something important that I would say we all, no matter what season we're in, we could always do better with that.
Absolutely. And if we protect ourselves and take care of ourselves, then it's so many less triggers, so many less outside things that affect you.
Yeah.
I would say, Mariah, you probably have some ideas for, okay, so everybody's in this overwhelm, everybody's in this high stress. Tell us some tips that you give patients, that what we could do preventatively, right, to Carolina's point, before they get to that. I'm all about prevention, but a lot of us have to learn the hard way. So if they're in it now, if they're in complete overwhelm or stress, high stress now, and or how do we prevent that?
Yeah. So I would say the first thing is actually like just evaluating where are your stressors, right? I think one of the biggest things that I had to learn was saying no. We say yes to everything and everyone. And by the time we have by the time we realize it, we are just drowning in our yeses. So looking at that pot of yeses and figuring out where you can actually say no. What can you delegate? What can you give to somebody else? What can you say, I can't do this anymore because it's not serving me? But I think another thing too is we are so conditioned to our electronic devices, me, myself included, right? So the first thing that we do in the morning when we get up is we're checking our phone, we're checking social media, we're checking our emails. But how about maybe just like the first 5 minutes of your day, you're kind of just quiet, silence with yourself, and just having a moment for your body to actually wake up. And I think a lot of the times too is like we are just so go, 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 that we have just we live in this world of stress, and we just haven't even taken a moment to, one, just enjoy the benefits of our hard work as being as entrepreneurs, right? But also two, just taking a moment to just be present with life itself, whether that's like a 5-minute, just meditation, whether that's just like a 10-minute walk outside, just anything that we can actually find to actually de-stress our bodies. And also, I would say the same thing goes for the nighttime, right? So we'll scroll our phones, we'll be on our computers until the final moment which we close our eyes. but can we actually take a time to actually develop a good sleep routine? And say, okay, I don't care what hasn't happened today. By this time, my computer is off, like, and holding ourselves accountable, even if that's like a do not disturb on your phone, or, for my Instagram, it says you're in sleep mode now, like, and it makes me get off. But just kind of finding ways like that, I think, to just really calm and be present in the moment and just learning how to say no.
Ooh, I love that. 5 minutes. Okay, so there's your takeaway for that is 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at least. You probably say 30 minutes at night to de-stress. It's really easy to just immediately pick up your phone because number one, it's your alarm, right? Or most of us, it's our alarm. So you're like, well, since I've got it in my hand, I might as well do all these other things. But that is not the case. Like, okay, shut the alarm off and then go back to whether it's meditation, prayer, like whatever your thing is. I do stretches in the morning, like just do that first and then go to it. But I've always thought of that, but I haven't thought of like the nighttime thing. Like it's just all the way up until the second before you close your eyes is terrible. So good reminders. And that there probably are ways like that on Instagram. You're like, you're in sleep mode. Sorry, you can't scroll anymore.
Yeah.
We can do that if we don't have our own willpower to shut it off.
Well, or we'll add the 5 minutes because I'm good at that. And then it's like 5 more minutes or alarm it. So even if you set it up so healthy that you just brought that up, Kelly, then we ignore it.
It's no good. No good. Julia, what about you? It's high stress, what you guys do. You guys and the business owners who are building, construction is really high stress. Is there anything that people can do to not, worry about the fear of, am I going to be successful? Is this going to work? It's okay if there's setbacks in construction.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a loaded question with many, many layers. I will say from the business perspective, we all have fear that maybe we will fail, but it all comes down to I have a vision, and I always start with whatever is in my mind. Let me put it on paper so it's clear. Because whenever there's a problem and we first can spell out what is the problem, what am I scared of, it helps us to actually look at it and then assess, okay, what's my solution to kind of get through that? And I'm a big visionary person, and whomever we're working with or a client, it's all about, I have this idea, I have this plan in mind. Now, how do I get there? And I genuinely believe that everything comes down to having people around you that A, understand your vision, but also B, help you get there. Because whenever we're just by ourselves, that fear keeps coming back. So it's good to have people around us, whether or not it's in our personal life, but also in a business perspective, finding people that see the vision, they're going to help you get there, to me, alleviates a lot of the stress, but also makes you feel as if there's people going with you towards that vision.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Having people in your corner that go, it's okay. You're going to be fine. This is going to work. Make your dreams into a reality, right? We can't do this by ourselves. I always say,
and sometimes we don't have all the tools to get there by ourselves. I know that in the beginning when we all start, it's just us, but there comes a point where, well, maybe there's this one person that has the tools or skills to help us get there beyond the mental support.
Yeah. Yep. It takes a village, that's for sure, or a community. Carolina, prevention, I'm hearing, is a big deal to you. Is there anything that people can do before they get to the, full-blown anxiety, depressive state,
Absolutely. What I say is excellent answers, girls. Definitely stuff I could practice myself. And I think all of us can really, kind of come back to. I would say I teach the AAAs in my practice, which it's something I created, and it's called a level of awareness, right? So awareness means being mindful that I have somewhat of a reaction to something, right? Like, oh, I'm in pain, or I'm sad, or like there's like I'm shifted and I don't even know that I don't feel good. Sometimes our people around us, our spouses, our friends can pick up sometimes more than us because we're in it and we just normalize this stuff with prevention. So I love that, Julia, you said a village, because I think we need that. I love that, Mariah, you said like a first thing in the morning, because I truly believe that it's all of these things that set us up from early on, right? Like the prevention is like how we wake up in the morning. I always say you cannot pour from an empty cup. So be aware of what your body needs. I work out at 5 a.m. because that may be the only time I can. So you're the only one that is aware of what you need versus anybody else. And nobody else is going to give you the permission, not your husband, not your kids. I mean, I have to flex sometimes, right? If my kid is sick, I can't go to the gym, or my dog's having an issue. But normally I try to prioritize and go, hey, I'm aware that I feel so much better when I work out. Like this is a me thing. And that may look just like you do your stretches. You said, Kelly, or like even 5 minutes of turning off the phone and being present with yourself, having a village of people to cheer you on. I really think it's awareness. The other A is I call acknowledgement. So acknowledge what you need. And go after it, right? Like acknowledge, like, man, I'm feeling a little bit stressed out today. What is this about? Do I need to call a friend to encourage me? Am I feeling kind of down? And I need to put music. There's so many healing arts that can heal us, not just through therapy, but just finding what we need. Sometimes it's coloring. Sometimes it's listening to a song. Sometimes it's working out, drinking our water, eating breakfast. Sometimes, like today, if you were to see me, I have these things that I'm like, I have no time because I've been back to back. So I have to practice what I preach. And I'm like, practice what you preach, Carolina. And I put this in my drink, right? Like some level of hydration, physical body, mental, but, taking care of our mental health and our spiritual. So sometimes it's prayer, gratitude. And then, so it's, awareness. Be aware of your own signs and symptoms. Be aware of what other energy you're picking up. Because sometimes, we're triggered by other people and it's maybe some internal stuff. Acknowledge it, right? Like, okay, I'm feeling sad today, or hey, I'm very happy, or hey, I have tons of energy, or hey, I need whatever. And then create the action plan, meaning plan before you act. So it's kind of an oxymoron. Like, what do I need? Maybe I need, to do my nails or hair or whatever it is. Self-care is sometimes just being silent, like what Mariah said. Yeah. Like some days I just need to be present and be grateful. Like, wow, I get to choose to be my own boss today. I get to choose to listen to problems today and find solutions to my people that are like vulnerable and telling me their deepest, darkest secrets. I see that as an honor. I see that as a privilege that I have been gifted with this. So what's my action plan? I obviously continue to invest back into my people, myself, the prevention that I practice. I go to therapy, I work out, I drink my water. Like I have to do my level of AAAs, awareness, acknowledgement, and action plan, so I can give and also receive, right? And also receive that.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. We all need to give and receive. We're women or entrepreneurs or both, are used to giving. And it's really hard to receive. And the second you let down that guardrail of like, okay, it's fine. I'm okay. I can receive it. And just acknowledging it yourself, right? Of things you need. I mean, that most people can't even have a hard time getting over that. So switching gears a little bit, some business journey, your entrepreneurial journey, some key lessons along the way. Mariah, tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and success or challenge you had and how you got over that.
Yeah. So for me, I started Telehealth for Her back in 2023. And right when I thought I was ready to go, I realized that I was not ready. But two, also having a family health challenge. So having to actually just say, okay, I cannot really invest in this business anymore. I need to actually focus on my family member. So that was hard. And then trying to actually bounce back from that. So like learning what I didn't know, I think is always the hardest thing, because I tell people all the time, like we learn how to take care of patients in medical school and in practitioner school. But we don't learn how to be an entrepreneur. We don't learn how to actually open up a practice. So there was just so many things that I did not know. For example, like just because I have the license doesn't mean that people are going to be like, banging down my door, my virtual space, right? So I have to actually be present and have to actually like market myself in a way that's not just here's some ads. So I think that was probably my biggest mistake, is running money, spending about $15,000 running ad campaigns for a business that I wasn't even fully established, but I also didn't quite know who my target audience was at the time and who exactly I wanted to serve. So I had to actually do like some more deep dive and do some masterminds and really got clear on who it was that I wanted to serve, and how I wanted to serve those women. So Telehealth for Her in 2025 is nowhere like it used to be in 2023. And it's just now, before I wanted to service everybody. And now I'm like, oh no, I am very selective in who comes to Telehealth for Her, very selective in how I get to help them and serve these women. And it's just, I think that's been my biggest blessing, is just learning the clarity through the journey, but also not giving up through it either. Like still, even in that hiatus, like I was still doing speaking engagements and I was still telling people that we existed, even though, we weren't actually open for practice. So I think that was huge for me. And that was probably one of my biggest lessons, is just not giving up and just enjoying the roller coaster and staying on the ride.
That's right. And if you think of it as a ride rather than like a terrifying roller coaster, you're way better off. And your background, though, you tell us a little bit about your background, though, before that.
Yeah. So before I was a nurse practitioner, I actually served patients who have blood cancers. I got into that field because my cousin had leukemia when we were in her early 20s. She's doing amazing now. But that was my inspiration for doing blood cancers. But I always loved women's health, but I didn't really like birthing babies, although I thought it was nice. I didn't really want to do pap smears. And those are the type of jobs that you could get as a women's health nurse practitioner. And I just knew that there was something else that I could do to service women. So it was in 2020, I think, when we all was like having these like self-revelations, like, am I really doing what I want to do? I actually learned that I never wanted to work in corporate healthcare, and I did not love the idea of working in corporate. I never liked the idea of working in corporate America, and I hated the idea that I was working in corporate healthcare. I didn't like the idea that I couldn't do for my patients what I wanted to do with them. I didn't like the idea that even in the in 2020, I was having conversations about equal pay for a team full of women of providers. I didn't like any of that. And I had to really like learn my self-worth, but also being able to step outside of the norm. So like I left all of my family and friends to work at what I thought was my dream job, my dream hospital. So being able to then have to tell my mom that I don't want to do this anymore. Like this is no longer a dream. It's becoming a nightmare. But being able to have to explain that to people, like, wait, you went and got, your master's degree, your doctorate degree from Duke University, and you're working at this prestigious hospital. What do you mean you want to leave that? Like, what do you mean? And like, for those who are just like, in healthcare, it's like you get the degree, you work at either a hospital or you work for a doctor's office. There's no entrepreneurship journey in that for most of us. So it was just, also coming to a realization that like I was worth it, and that I had a bigger vision and passion to help women beyond what their insurance company and conventional medicine will allow, and being able to just kind of step out on faith for sure.
Well, and acknowledging that while the big title or like, ooh, Duke University, like what, or you got the dream job, and you're like, actually no, yeah. But being okay with pivoting. You got to pivot, and you got to do it for yourself, because it's not going to serve you in the long run. You're going to be miserable. Yeah. So good job. Congratulations. That's very exciting. It's a big deal to take the leap.
Yes.
Julie, what about you? Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, some, a success or a challenge you've had, how you overcome it.
Absolutely. Yes. Before stepping into that, I just want to say, Mariah, I love your story and I love your passion. When we met last year, we talked about, and your story is exactly the reason why I love working with the entrepreneurs of healthcare, because everyone has that journey of, hey, I want to get out of this world that feels wrong and just do my own thing. So I love your story.
Thanks, Julia.
For myself, well, I think for context purposes, I'm originally from Germany. I moved to the US by myself when I was 19 years old to start this business. So kind of seeing that context, I will say that for a really long time, and sometimes even up until this day, I have always been the youngest person in the room. On top of that, used to have an even thicker German accent. I really had to struggle to prove myself to other people because I was always seen as just, oh, you're too young, and wasn't really heard or respected, and kind of put into this box. Well, you're so young, there's no way that you can help me or you know what you're talking about. So I think the biggest struggle for me was kind of continuing to believe that I can do what I say I can do while the whole world around me doesn't think I can. So it's been a mental game for many, many years. And I would say what I've learned from that, and what I will probably tell everyone else who starts really, really young, is that you have to tune out that noise. You really have to turn that off and truly believe that what you're doing is the right thing and that you're capable of doing it. And that is something that I think has turned me into this very just focused person of, if I want to do this, I'm going to go get it done no matter how. So it's been a big struggle, but it's turned me into who I am today. And the lessons that I've learned through that is something that no one could have ever teach me.
No, the hard knocks of entrepreneurship. Yeah. I love that. Tuning out the noise, right? I started right out of college in entrepreneurship, and you just have to be smarter, be better, be more knowledgeable, like get the, work a little harder,
Yeah, and you can't make mistakes, because if you do, then it's, oh, well, we told you, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The bar is so much higher for you all of a sudden.
Exactly. Oh man, I don't miss those days. But now, your practice is, it's thriving. It's huge. You have places all across the US. So it's kudos to you for moving to a brand new country, starting a business that young, and growing and scaling, to a very large company. I love that. It's so cool.
Yes, rock on.
Congratulations. When you told me, you were like, yeah, and we usually do like 60 projects a year, or 60, would you say 60 projects at a time or something crazy?
Yeah,
like
40 to 60. Yeah.
I was like, for construction, that is ridiculously large. So congratulations. So exciting.
Yeah. My team,
Carolina,
great.
Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, lessons, hard knocks of.
Oh man, I don't know which one to pick from. I feel is that life has brought me the realities of life. The school of hard knocks is truly what has helped me in kind of making me who I am. I would say, obviously I come from a Colombian background. I was born in Colombia, came here. So a lot of that, probably immigrant, being the underdog from, you probably hear my accent at times, or, the color of my skin, or whatever it is that sometimes we come across, right? Like, can I do this? Should I do this? Do I even have a seat at the table? And I just can say, like I can, right? And being able to work, I think my whole life has been a living servitude of what could go wrong. And then how do I use that to help others and normalize that it's okay if you're the underdog, pull up a chair, pull a table, create space, sit on my lap, like what, we got you. So I think, even my personal journey of the disadvantages and the struggles has made me be who I am. Now, I never thought that I could do this on my own. I worked. So when I started in school, if somebody would have said, oh, you're going to be in private practice and you're going to be your own clinician, I would have been like, I know, I that's not me, because I didn't believe. I think the fear for me was fear of success more than the fear of failure. I think I magnified the failure so much more because I was first generation, here getting my degree, doing all these things that I was like, oh, I made it. Just like Mariah said, right? Like you're getting all these degrees, you've come from nothing, like be thankful, be grateful, all these cultural norms that we hear. And I think even for you, Julia, being 19, you're like, can I even like show up and do this? But I can say even the resiliency of being able to believe. So I'm like a small turtle, like God has to work with me very slowly until like I actually believe my worth. So I think that's why I'm so patient and kind, and I'm compassionate. That's like the middle name of my practice, is be compassionate to you. So because I have to be compassionate to myself, which is the core of really all of the things and the imposter syndromes that we should, because of society, because of whatever. We're too small, we're too big, we're too, whatever. And just being able to say I can, and really just small steps. I started with, I did community work in big organizations for 15 years and I loved it. ICUs, trauma, nonprofits, like I moved up very quickly. I was very personable. So I came from that until I had a revelation. I think 2020 was like, if I die in this whole pandemic that everybody's going through, right? The revelation, is this the best version of myself? And it was like, no, like you can give more and you can, and I started picking up like, there's so much more I can do and I can't. And I kept getting these hits like in the bigger world corporation stuff that was like, no, you can't do that. You're only this, you're only that, you're only this. And I'm like, but why? How come? Why can't we fully help? So that's really the questioning, and me being able to do like groups for women that were addicted to fentanyl and heroin, and creating all these programs that people are like, why do you want to do those things? And I'm like, I don't know, because I think that's what, if the child is going to go back to the mom, like, can we help them if eventually, and look at the world a little broader and bigger? So I think the more no's that I would come across, it actually forced me to go, just like Julia said, like, oh, okay, wait, there's a no, there's a no, there's a no. So there's a path of me being able to then create this, because there's no other thing that gives me room to be that, and then to believe in myself and go. And I truly believe that I am the happiest. I tell my husband, and he thinks I'm crazy. I know it's a lot of work. Like I have not worked as much as I work now, being an entrepreneur and a business owner, more than like when I worked 50 hours in an ICU and NICU. Because this stuff does not turn off.
No.
Like my end, which is why I love No, because it really got us perspective that we're bad ASS women. I don't know if we could curse. Leave me there, and that we could do so many things, and that we don't have to just choose one, and that we can change the world however we want to, with all the gifts and talents that are so unique to all of us, because nobody else is you. That's your superpower.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Every time I hear a story of like, you have all these accolades and you're in doing this corporate and you have all these, and then you're like, no, and you switch and you go to become an entrepreneur. I'm like, yes. Me over here, I'm like the champion for small businesses, right? I've only been an entrepreneur. I've only been in family businesses. And I'm like, ooh, why would anybody want to do that? I'm like, I even went to, interview in between businesses, like maybe I'll go get a real job. Like, no, like I don't fit that round hole square peg thing. Like that just doesn't fit in so I love every story that I hear that's like, yeah, I'm done with you. I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So exciting. So a piece of advice, maybe not the best, obviously that's hard to choose like one, but a piece of advice that you received as an entrepreneur that has carried you, that has helped you, that you think would be beneficial for other entrepreneurs. Mariah?
I would say build the plane while flying it was the best thing I have ever.
Ooh, I like that.
Because I'm such a perfectionist. So everything has to be perfect before I launch it. And I learned that my perfectionism was actually like stalling my passion and my purpose. And one of the biggest pieces of advice I've gotten was, Mariah, just build the plane while flying it. Like build the programs while you're enrolling people into them. If week 6 and 8 is not done, great. They're only at week 1 anyway. So you have time to finish building the rest of it. But that was the biggest piece of advice to me. And just knowing that things don't have to be perfect. Just do it.
I love that. We all need a little bit of that. Julia, what about you?
Many, many, many. Let me pick one out of them. I would say something someone once told me is that people can copy everything that you do, but they can't copy your authenticity.
Ooh, that's good.
And that to me is just whatever you do, whenever you doubt yourself, whenever you look at what other people do, if it's better, or sometimes they even copy what you do, right? That sentence will forever stick with me because it reminded myself that whomever we are, whatever our businesses stand for, no one is who we are, and they can never become that.
That's right. That's right. Carolina, what about you?
So awesome. The ones that you guys all shared. Kelly, I'm interested in hearing yours. So I would say failure is part of success. I think the perfectionism, the ability to be okay with who we are, vulnerability and authenticity, and that we're going to fail a lot more times than probably succeeding. But a champion does not say a champion because they're down. The champion is not how many times you fall, you get hit, you get knocked down, you get stepped on, you get up. However that looks, you get yourself up and you just keep doing it again. So I really think I had to become friends with failure and going, it's okay. This I had to make a mistake. I had to learn from this. I had to own this. I lost my cool today. If I'm growing, with my staff, because I'm like, oh my God, I've said this a zillion times.
Yes.
I failed at being the best leader in the world that I said I was going to be because I don't want to be those leaders. And I come back and I'm like, guys, I'm human. I am short fused today. I am so passionate. I'm sorry I lost my cool. I failed at, losing my temper today. I'm sorry. Can we do this better? And then it goes into business mode, right? Like, man, I failed to make a clear contract with somebody, and an employee took people and shared them with other practices. And I never protected myself because I was like, I am, you should have all of the things. So why not? Because I would never do that to you. So I have learned that failing has gotten me closer and closer to defining, oh, do this better. Oh, accept this better. Oh, failure has helped me so much more than the successes. So I welcome it. I'm like, okay, failure, what are you going to teach me today? I'm going to own it. I am human and I messed up and I'm sorry and I'm going to get back on it.
That takes a lot. Most people cannot, get past that, like even acknowledgement of failure, let alone like saying it out loud to your team, and saying like, that's amazing. I love that. Mine is, always put yourself in a room with people smarter than you, or hire people that are smarter than you. 100%.
Yes.
Has been my motto lately, is consistently hire people smarter than myself, put myself in a room with people smarter than me. So can you believe we're almost done? It's so crazy how time flies when we're
we can do this all day.
We could talk for hours about entrepreneurship. I know. anything that you want to touch on, a piece of advice, a wish you knew when you first started, lessons learned, anything, your last thoughts, Mariah?
I would say my last thoughts are, don't worry about what other people are doing. And I think for me, I had to learn that too, because I feel like right now, like menopause and perimenopause is having a moment. But people are buying you and they love you. And I think if you come to a place where you're authentic and you're passionate, like you will be able to rise outside of the noise. And I think that for me was huge, because I dealt with imposter syndrome. Like, can I really do this? Like, everybody else is starting a menopause practice. So like, what's going to make telehealth for her different? And I had to actually like sit down with myself and really figure out what was going to make my practice different. And knowing that, it's not always have to be about me. Because has always been the person that hate group projects growing up. I wanted to do it all myself because I know it'll be done right. But learning and learning to know that I'm not a solopreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. So I have to have a team of people that helps me to run my practice. So that was huge for me, especially for all of us who are perfectionists. Just let go and let somebody else help you.
You're speaking my language. I said that's why our coined phrase is do what you love and outsource everything else, right? Julia, what about you?
I think it's in the kind of same category as what Mariah is saying. I've been a lone wolf for many, many years, and people always say your network is your net worth. And for such a long time, I was not fighting it, but I always thought, well, I don't know, I don't find my right people. But it truly does change your whole entire life. And it's not always about just the tangible of this person can give me a referral, this person can give me a project. It's also about, and that goes back to what you said, Kelly, surrounding yourself with people that are smarter, that give you different perspectives, that uplift you. Your network is not only about the tangibles, it's also about how your mindset grows. And ultimately, that will grow your business as well as you personally.
Oh, I love that so much. I would have never gotten through the stuff I got through without my community. There's no way. And being forced to, as an entrepreneur for 20 something years, the personal and professional development that I've been through is what keeps me going over and over and over again.
100%.
Carolina, what about you? Last?
Yeah. So there's two thoughts that are coming into mind, because of course I can't just say one. For me, it's be okay being a connector and a bridge between where you are, right? The best version of you, the version that you don't see of yourself yet because it's not fully there. Give yourself room to dream and to just be childlike, meaning like dream, because when we're young, we believe in all the fairy tales, and then life hits us and we're like, whoa, I don't believe in nothing. That's not true. But it's almost like believe that you can, believe what's the possibilities, allow creativity to flow, and then connect the bridges. And I think it really wraps up like, let go of the perfectionism. There's no such thing as perfection. That is a setting somewhere. Be okay being around other women or men that make you uncomfortable, and be humble enough to be like, yo, I don't know how to do that. Can you help me? Right? Kelly, just like the service that you offer, which is to help businesses connect and market and do, like, I don't know how to do that. That's not my thing. I know how to help people in different ways, but be okay with that collaboration, that partnership, doing what you are good at, and then dreaming of the possibilities, because I truly believe maybe the collaboration may not be it here. For example, for me in Southwest Florida, I've learned that I need people outside of Southwest Florida. I'll go to North Carolina. I go to Arizona, like, be global, think bigger, allow those visions to flow, because you know what? Sometimes when we stay within the same box, that's all we keep getting, and that's all the measurement we get. But if you expose yourself to higher levels, sometimes you learn so much more and put yourself in uncomfortable situations because you allow yourself to connect, allow yourself to bridge opportunities. Just like this. So thank you so much, because I'm like, I just got to talk to you because you made such an impact on my life when you talked about your story and your prevention of like getting checked and surviving breast cancer, because that's resonated with me, of the legacy of why I do my practice, which is in honor of my mom too, that passed away. And it's like, take time for you, dream. Why are we doing what we're doing? Connect with the people. At the end of the day, we're going to leave this earth, but it's like, what legacy did we leave behind? That's what we're going to be remembered, is these things. It's the connecting, the bridges, the time that we took for ourselves to grow us, because there's no other version of you but you. So
good way to end. You give me tears already.
well, you guys are all special to me.
Good way to end. So for anybody who's watching or listening, tell us where people can find you, Mariah.
So I can be found, Telehealth for Her is www.telehealthforher.com. I'm on LinkedIn as Mariah Prince Allen, and I'm also on Instagram as Mariah Prince Allen, and Telehealth for Her made it very easy to find me.
Good. Julia, what about you?
Oh, mine is all connected to my name because it's my last name. I can be found everywhere with my name, Julia Kapler, and then the business is Kapler Group on all the channels, everything that exists. So easy.
Good. And Carolina, what about you?
I do not make things easy because, of course, I'm Colombian. No, I'm just kidding. My name is so long. So it's Carolina's CompassionateCounseling.com. That's a full name. And I probably need to merge, Kelly, and I need to put like all my Instagram and all my stuff together. I am found in Psychology Today. I'm sure if you Google Carolina Ferrer, LCSW, I've done tons of things through TV and media and different stuff of connection. And if anything, find me through just Google my name, I would say would be the best option. I'm sure you will find me. And Kelly, you got a project coming.
Good. Well, we hope today's conversation has sparked ideas for how you can grow, streamline, and or scale your business and grow as a person, right? We've all seen that entrepreneurship blends with our personhood. That's a word. And no, you don't have to do it alone. At KLM Consulting, Marketing, and Management, we specialize in helping business owners like yours simplify operations, improve marketing strategies, and build strong partnerships so you can focus on what you do best. And if you're looking to delegate or automate tasks, our KLM team can help you free up time and reduce stress. Visit duplicatemyself.com to learn more. And you have been listening to Collaborative Connections with Kelly Lorenzen. Remember, do what you love and outsource everything else. Until next time, happy connecting.